Hello, dear fellow learners. I would like to welcome you all to the second part of the series of the lectures on international business environment, wherein we are going to deal with the second part of internationalization process and managerial implications. Before starting the new part, I really hope that you have already gone through the first part of the subject with a similar name. If not, I would definitely recommend to go through the particular part in order to have a better understanding of the further slides and the video lecture to follow. So with the hope that you are watching this video after the completion of the first part, I, Dr. Saket Mansoor from Dr. Ambedkar Institute of Management Studies and Research would like to welcome you all here in order to start our presentation and the second series of internationalization process and managerial implications. The first point here would be the choice of market to enter, which forms one of the most crux choice or the option which needs to be highlighted while entering into the market. Obviously, the first and foremost highlighted factor would be internationalization means a calculative entry into a specific market which can give you profit. Unless and until you have a deep pocket, or rather, the possibility of entering into a foreign market, it won't be feasible and possible for any business house to enter or rather work in a foreign market. So, the ability to earn profit and predictability or hopefulness to earn and expand your profitability is one of the most important factor which highlights the need or the urge to enter into a foreign market or to go global. While going global, some of the facts or the figures that the person or the business should check with would include foreign exchange rate. As all of us are quite aware, all the countries carry different denominations and for their currency rate as per their standards, and same set of fluctuation rates cannot be applied everywhere else, and hence while entering into any foreign market, it is of utmost importance for any business house or the organization to study and understand the way the foreign exchange rate works. Too much fluctuation in foreign exchange rate can directly hamper the profitability of our business house, which may directly affect the price range, the status, the brand value, as well as the consumers we are targeting. Hence, before entering into the market, it is apt that the organization goes and studies the definitive requirement of understanding the foreign exchange rates, fluctuation, and how they can be controlled. The second part would be to understand and study global consumer market. It would be utter disaster if an organization pays no heed to conduct and carry out the definitive series wherein a consumer market is being studied into detail. As all of us are quite aware, consumer forms the very basis for which the business process is being conducted, and hence carrying out a detailed study of how the consumer market works, what they buy, why they buy, how they buy, when they buy, with whom they buy, would be a highlighting factor while deciding upon global consumer market. Understanding their global strategies, taking into consideration their buying process, understanding the consumer behavior would be apt in order to go ahead and finalize how the consumers react or rather how they reciprocate to a buying process. Without the understanding of buying process or global consumer behavior, it would be almost impossible for us to enter into the market without the prior knowledge. Next point in the series would be capital market leakages. As all of us are quite aware, in order to generate funds, the company has to go global and may need to go public as well. So in order to go public and generate funds by issuing of shares, it is highly important that the company also studies their local market structure as well as how the overall market structure works and the share market structure which is being operated in the particular area. Without the understanding of capital market leakages, it would be almost impossible for a company to raise the funds in dire situations, or it would be almost a very difficult task to generate these funds. I feel that the choice of market to enter will be governed by all these 3 points, and hence the basic understanding and the sufficiency in understanding and creating the data would lead to a better understanding and propensity of a business. Next point would be determining the code of conduct in international market. In general, the code of conduct can be defined as how a business operates, or rather, imbibing the business culture and organizational culture with respect to flexibility of application in a foreign country. Hence, a code of conduct can be considered as a statement of organizational value. How a country responds or organization responds to a particular situation, what are the basics and ethics that we follow while working, and how to execute the values would be imparted in the code of conduct. Any code is a reflection of management's desire to incorporate the values and policies of the organization. Without the statutory code of conduct or a fine-tuning code of conduct, it would be almost impossible for any organization to go ahead and create an organizational structure which will be suitable to grow or earn profit. While going into a new country, it is always acceptable norm that the company creates a code of conduct which is suitable to a new country while retaining their old heritage and calculating their old company's culture so that the host and the home country can work hand in hand. It is of utmost importance that the country or the company has a line of parallel drawn so that they can work upon in the best possible manner and the best possible situation or the best possible result can be obtained. So the decision regarding the code of conduct must be according to the host country, keeping in mind their cultural sensibilities, their political sensibilities, economical sensibilities, and legal sensibilities. Foregoing any one of them and still going ahead with the code of conduct would be utter disaster. And hence, a manager should always consider these possibilities before forming the code of conduct in the new organization for a host country. Next point would be dealing with the ethical issues in international business. First point that is to be covered would be employment practices. Many of the countries have separate employment practices while talking about lower level employees, middle level employees, and higher level employees. While going ahead and carrying out the employment practices, it is of utmost importance that an organization studies and follows labor law to the utmost discretion. Without the proper understanding of labor laws or without the highlighting of labor laws, it will be almost impossible for any one of us to carry out the perfect employment practices. Many of the countries, specifically in Southeast Asia like Malaysia, Singapore, or Philippines, have a legal practice wherein the lower layer 100% of the lower layer employees are to be incorporated or given the job on the local level, and nobody from the foreign expatriate can join as a lower level employee. While some of the countries like Philippines and Malaysia open-heartedly welcome the people at a higher level of management, they strictly abide by the rule of giving away the employment to the local level with minimum qualification possible. In some of the countries like Oman, it is mandatory to form a partnership with a localite before opening up your own business. The person even may act as a sleeping partner, but still becomes a mandatory to make him in the part of your business practices. Next point would be corruption. Corruption or red tapeism are considered to be the two sides of a same coin, and hence it is of utmost importance for any business house to understand how to deal with the situation in the host country while not practicing the same from your current home country. Corruption levels or corruption charges may lead to sabotage, disconnection or discontinuation of your business or cancellation of licenses. So without understanding, we cannot move further and carry out these ethical issues in international business. I would like to quote an example. If you are working in India, corruption can be considered as a common practice. But while working in UAEs or Central Arab Emirates, a corruption as a name would lead you to direct disqualification and cancellation of your business license and working permit, whereas a gift in the period of their holy period can be considered as a sign of appreciation for their gratuity. So it can be not in the type of cash but can be in the type of kind, and hence indirect type of gifting is also acceptable norm. Hence, while understanding and addressing this ethical issue in international business, the manager needs to understand the culture, their ethical ethnicity in order to overcome these structural barriers. Human rights. Several countries have stringent norms in carrying out the human rights. In the many countries, it is almost considered inhuman if the particular person is working and about 12 hours, whereas in countries like Japan, the 12-hour shift is considered to be normal. Hence, before continuing or forming your employment practices, formalized policies, the human rights conditions in a particular country need to be understood in the precarious of the manner. Environmental pollution. Environmental pollution and pollution norms for the developed, underdeveloped, and developing countries are very much different. Hence, it is of utmost importance for any international business to carry out an environmental analysis before going ahead and form environmental laws. Dumping out of a waste or chemical waste would be an utter disaster and may lead to disrepute to the company. While there are obviously environmental laws and formalized policies, it is of utmost importance for any company to carry out a SWOT analysis of the structural and political changes by keeping in mind the Environmental Act as well. Relation with the employees. In many countries, the senior and junior can address each other by name, but wherein in the countries like India, the person cannot be addressed by the first name only, but has to be addressed by the name of the sir. It is a very common practice in the countries like US to have an informal chat, an informal dinner, or even go on a vacation with your fellow colleagues or juniors, whereas in India it can be seen as a strict no norm in order to carry out such relation with the employee. So in order to deal with such ethical issues or ethical stigma, it is recommended for our manager to carry out a ethical SWOT analysis before entering into such market. The last point of the particular side would be determining the mode of entry, which forms the very basis of how the company is going to enter into a foreign market. As listed down, these are some of the different modes of entry into a foreign market, which itself has the pros and cons for the market. We will have a scrutinized lookout for about each and every point mentioned here. First and foremost, imports and exports. Import and export is considered to be one of the minutest and the easiest way of entering into a foreign market. Import and export forms the very basis wherein you need not have a foreign office. You can directly apply for the license, and depending upon the quality of the product and demand of your product, you can directly export your product. Import is generally a quota wherein the needed things are being demanded from the other countries rather than your home country. Foreign direct investment. Foreign direct investment, or FDI in short, is direct reform or the investment in a foreign land. The foreign land investment will obviously cost a huge sum and hence is generally carried out by huge business houses rather than small business houses. Licensing procedure. Licensing procedure directly converts into practicing of manufacturing on the basis of license obtained from a particular company based in a foreign country. For example, a company like Walt Disney has its root in the home country of US and still can give license to a particular company like Navneet to manufacture on their behalf, so that we can give merchandise of Disney, that is Mickey Mouse themed accessories, notebooks in India as well. Franchising. Franchising is a concept wherein a distant office gives a guideline and an outline in order to carry out the business model in a distant area, such as KFC, McDonald's, wherein a KFC is a product originated in Australia, McDonald's as a product originated in USA, still has its branches and franchises in across India and across the world. Contracts. Contracts are generally are executional contracts wherein the real estate contracts, building contracts, or the complete project setup contracts are being given to a localized firm, so that without the hassles of carrying out and struggling to obtain the license, a local firm can give you a turnkey contract wherein you just need to invest, go there and operate in a particular manner, so that a complete business setup is available for you. Mergers and acquisition. While talking about mergers and acquisition, it is an important aspect to consider that a merger can be carried out in a foreign land wherein a suitable company, a part, a raw material, or a similar of a company is available, so that a parent company in the home country can take over a small company in the host country by getting the access to their raw material, their workforce, their technology, as well as their market capturization and all their present clients. Assembling is generally a technique wherein the product is being sourced to a particular country and all products are assembled to make a final product before giving them away into a market. Determining the mode of entry basically highlights the very fact that depending upon your deep pockets, profitability, your core criteria, it would be of utmost importance to finalize how to enter into the market before taking the decision of going ahead and making the profit, which is one of the most important aspect of managerial decision while going global. I hope all the concepts were quite clear. Hope to see you soon. Take care. Stay safe.